Social media marketers, Professor Walters here, and today we're here in Tirana, Albania, above this beautiful city. And today we're going to talk about are some of the common mistakes I see companies make and brands make when they're doing social media. And we have videos that really focus on specific stuff for YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and all these different platforms. But what I want to do is give you kind of these general mistakes that people make on all of the platforms so you don't make them. These are these little hiccups that can take a great post and make it being ridiculed by the entire audience that's out there. And I think the first common mistake that people make when they're doing social media is spell check and grammar check. They don't do it. Look, whenever you're going to be making a tweet, whenever you're going to be making a post, what I would recommend you do, put it in Google Docs, put it in Word, and make sure you have spell check on there, you have grammar check on there, and don't forget to read it before you click send. Why? Well, think about it. You have the best post ever explaining everything, going to change the world. But we both know if you use the wrong there, people are going to make fun of you. Oh, well, why should I believe them? They don't even know the proper grammar of when to use there, or there. And that's one of those things. You're going to have those petty people on there that will completely turn it off. You have a spelling mistake in there. How can I take it seriously when you spell something wrong? So that's one of those big mistakes you don't want to make. It's a very simple thing. Just do the spell check, do the grammar check beforehand. That's why never just make a post and send it. Write it on another platform, write on that Word, Google Docs, whatever, so it can do the checks for you, and then copy and paste it over. And then check to make sure that when you copy and pasted it over, the formatting was still the way you wanted it. Now, the second mistake I think people make is not taking into account the platform they're going to be on. And this could be different ways you look at it. You can look at the platform in terms of the type of content you're going to make. For example, if you're going to be on YouTube, you're making these horizontal videos like this for the longer videos. However, if you're on TikTok, you're doing those vertical videos. If you're going to be on Pinterest, you want a long post so people can see that. So there's different kind of formatting you're going to use. So you want to make sure you use the right ones. Because if I put a video like this horizontal video on TikTok or on Instagram, it's not going to do very well because people don't look at it in the horizontal. They look at it in the vertical on their phone. So I got to make sure that that lines up. But also you want to make sure the content you're making lines up with the audience you have. For example, on my travel channel, my Facebook channel for the travel stuff is predominantly female and older, right? So I want to have content that maybe targets them. Whereas my content on my Instagram feed is much younger. The average age is in the mid-20s. So I know maybe I'm going to be focusing on things on like, hey, how to get the most out of your travels in your 20s. And, here's some budget travel advice. Because, when you're in your 20s, you don't have a ton of cash, right? So there's going to be different things you use. So make sure you don't forget that each platform is going to be different, and it means focusing on different audiences, making different content, things that really work on those different content platforms. Now, another mistake I see people make is either they post way too much or they'll ghost their people for a long period of time. Look, if you make 90, reels, let's say on Instagram, and you're like, oh, I'm going to post 3 reels a day for 30 days and I'm going to get a lot of followers, that's really great. But what happens on day 31? Are you not making any more content? Well, it might be better, instead of trying to do 3 posts a day for 30 days straight and then not sure what you're going to do later, it's better to make those 90 posts and then have 1 post every day for 90 days because that takes you out for a more longer, consistent kind of output. And that longer, consistent output, that is what the Googles like, that's what the YouTubes like, the Instagrams like, because they know, oh, they're putting stuff out every day. I can count on them to be putting out content to get people to stay on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. But also in that same vein, if you just stop posting for a while, what you have to realize, if you go off platform for like 3 months, it's almost like you have to start from scratch again on your YouTube channel, your Instagram channel. So you want to make sure you can be consistent, because overdoing it can be a mistake, and then not having content anymore could be a mistake. So the key thing is finding a good balance in terms of the amount of output you can make with your content. Now, another big mistake I see people making on social media is not doing these social things about it, not engaging with your audience. I mean, that's the best thing about social media, is making that community feeling, being social, i.e. interacting. And if you're not interacting, you're not at least giving them a heart when they're commenting or answering their comments, you kind of lose it. Because what you have to realize is when you comment back and you engage with people that have commented on your videos, on your posts, they're like, hey, that person cares about me. I'm going to post again. I'm going to watch more of their videos. I'm going to share their stuff. I'm going to comment because I know Mark is going to be answering my questions and he's there for me. And if you're not commenting back, you're not answering on those questions and those posts, then people are like, well, why should I even comment? He doesn't comment on anything back. You want to do that. And also the algorithm sees that. If you're not commenting back and not engaging, they're not going to share as much. They like to see people that engage with their audience. So don't not engage. Give yourself time every day. Like, hey, you know what? We're gonna take 20 minutes every day and just answer comments, answer questions that are online to show our people that we really care. And that's gonna be a difference, because if you don't engage, well, unfortunately, the algorithms and more importantly, your followers don't think you care about them, and boop, they'll disappear. Now, another common mistake I see people make when it comes to social media is overusing hashtags. Look, using 30 or 40 hashtags, no, you're doing too many, okay? You want to make sure you use the hashtags that are relevant to you. What you want to have are a few short tail hashtags. You know, if it's a travel site, travel, Albania, visit Albania, there's the short ones. Then maybe a long tail one, which is more specific. Best day trips from Tirana, Albania. And you want to have a combination of those to get people in there, because you want to have the right keywords. But if you do too much, what it looks like is you're just keyword stuffing, and the algorithms do not like that. They're like, look, you can't have all these things. You're obviously just trying to get people to click on it for this. So you got to have that right balance. So don't overdo the hashtags. Don't overdo the keywords. Have a good balance. I usually try to go for, like, if we're on like a Facebook or Instagram, go for like 7, okay? Or for example, if you're on YouTube Shorts, you can only do 3 anyway. So you want to kind of figure out the right amount for it. Overdoing it, it's not worth it. And then one of my biggest things, if you've watched our videos before, one of the mistakes I talk about all the time is not looking at the numbers. Look, all these platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, they give you the analytics. They tell you what works and what doesn't work, right? And so use that, because you may say, well, my gut knows what people want. No, your gut doesn't know. That is just indigestion. What you want to do is look and see is what is working, what is not working, and then make content based on that. I know for myself, I thought people would want to have language videos for the countries they go to. No, nobody wants to learn language where they're going to go. They want to know cheers, hi, and thank you, and that's it. And then they want to know the culture stuff. And I learned that. It took me a time to finally look at those analytics and see, wow, nobody cares about learning the language. Okay, let's stop wasting our time on that and focus on what like they want. And that's where we started these videos, the love and hates of traveling. And those really took off. But the analytics can really help you. And so that's why one of the big mistakes people make is it takes them too long to look at their numbers, look at their analytics, and see what the analytics is really telling them. So make sure you're paying attention to that, all right? Now, there are tons of other common mistakes people make, but I think these are the biggest ones that people do make on social media. Now, please, there's other videos we have about common mistakes on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. We have those videos out there to give you even more. So this is a good starting point. So you have these, and then go watch those videos to help you out. Anyway, I wish you all the best. I'll say bye from here in Tirana, Albania.